you check in? Did you check in? Hello, how you doing?
I was looking for it, then I got distracted.
Huh? Oh yeah, it's hard to get used to it when it's like snow day every day.
I have it saved in my favorites.
Hmm?
I have it saved in my
Oh,
favorite.
okay. And you guys, I don't know, it's been a while. You can log in with that login. Remember, it's faster than your ES number login.
Okay. I put in my number in.
Oh, it's okay. It works. You're go a little closer. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, no, it works, guys. It's just like dirt slow logging in. So when you log in, your S number takes like 4 or 5 minutes sometimes. That one doesn't take about a minute.
We're meeting on a Tuesday.
Huh? Do what?
We met on a Tuesday.
Yeah, we made it on Tuesday. Exactly. Woo! Be careful out there, Sylvia.
Okay.
You need help?
I take it slow and I use the cart to help balance.
Yeah, go out this left. I think you're parked where I am over there. So yeah, that whole piece has not been shoveled.
What?
The sidewalk has not been shoveled coming out the door. Nope.
The downtime has.
Mm-mm.
That's when I stake some of their salt.
Yeah, you're smart. Exactly. Well, if you need help, let me know. I mind helping you.
I forgot where I saved my.
Your QR?
Yeah.
Oh, I can help you with it. I'll just send it. I'll text it to you if you don't mind.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so in a second I'll just get some info from you real quick.
Oh,
All right,
I think
so
I found it.
you found it. There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
How do I?
Yep. Did you press the green button? Check in,
Oh, okay.
and then make sure the image is full screen.
Oh.
Got it?
Is it what? Yeah. I'm not sure. I think so.
Is that your name?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. Cool.
Cool.
All right. Hey, I've got 3 students in here. Awesome.
I have class.
The rest are online.
3 hours.
Do I?
Not this one.
Yeah.
The other class is 254.
Yeah, might as well stay, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I'm glad you came. I'm glad you stayed. A few students had to drive from like Wisconsin. 3 of our students drive from Wisconsin, and 251. I'm like, you can watch it from online this week, so it's not worth. Yeah, the roads. Well, coming in, I don't think it wasn't too bad, but the roads are getting icier, so the wind's what's really making it treacherous, I think.
Yeah, and the temperature will change.
Yeah, the slush, as long as it doesn't freeze before we leave, we're good.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't freeze before we leave, we're okay. But hey, it's winter, right?
Yeah.
All right. Some folks had some questions. The video should be live now. The Vega, Mary. You should be able to see my screen now. Is that correct? Just type in here if you can see my monitor. Those of you that are online. All right, cool. Thanks. All right, we'll get started here in about a minute. I don't know if I did a check-in this week or not. Those are online. I'm gonna have to do a check-in real quick. I don't think I created a check-in for this week. Maybe I did. I will create a check-in real quick for those that are online. All right. Okay, those that are online, if you want to submit your full name and the check-in and number week 5, it's called check-in copy. Hey, how you doing? Hey, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Did you have class before?
No.
Sweet. All right. There you go. You can go ahead and check in with the, do you still have your QR code or you need help with that? Okay, cool. All right, those that are online, make sure you go to week 5, click on the check-in module and submit your name. Cool. And log in with that login up there on the board. It'd be quicker than your S number. Okay. All right, well, how's everybody doing? So you had a class before, you had me earlier. And then did you come here special for the class tonight? Awesome, thank you. Well, roads aren't too bad coming in, I didn't think, but some folks had to travel a distance, and we did have a faculty member break their arm on this parking lot over here yesterday. So, yeah, if you hit it just right, you know, even if you're careful, stuff can happen. So, but we'll just hope the coldness holds off, the freezing coldness holds off until it's 25 right now. So wind chill is probably about 15. So, all right, so we'll make it. We'll all make it home safe. I know you're not my family, but because of the weather, and if you wouldn't mind just emailing me those that are in class when you get home, just tell me you made it. That'd be great. I appreciate it. All right, because I care about you. All right. Exactly. I think so. I like that. I look at it like that, but not everybody does. All right, so looks like folks are online. Mary said brave souls driving there tonight. All right, yep, I agree, Mary. All right, okay, so this week we're going to be starting, first of all, talk about the take-home or your homework assignment, the digital photography term. Remember, that's the whole 1-point quiz due by Sunday, I believe, is the due date on that. And just go over the take-home handout from last week, which was the photography terms. And you have until Sunday. You have 3 opportunities to ace it, which everybody should. And it's just common photography terms that is beneficial to understand and know what they are. And this class is tailored more, as you already figured out, more hands-on activities than quizzes. Because you get more out of it, I believe, and you experiment more with it that way. We're going to go over some notes here in a second. We'll do a take-home exercise. We'll talk about what you're going to be creating a collage using Pixlr, which looks like this. We'll go over that tonight. We're going to be the photos you took last week. You'll be creating a collage with, and it's a fun little program. It helps you create collages, and a lot of times as photographers, we'll want to create a collage of images that we've taken and put it in like a CD or DVD case, or even inside of a USB. Say your image is on a USB drive, and a lot of times I'll put a printout of a collage, just thumbnails of all the images, and put it in. I like zip. The older I get, I think it's just weird. Might be I'm weird or something, but I like putting stuff in Ziploc bags. And so, anybody else like Ziploc bags? I like Ziploc bags for organizing stuff, and it keeps the water and moisture out of the USB drives. And so I'll put the Ziploc bag with the USB with the pictures, and then a folded up piece of paper that has thumbnails of all the images on that thumb drive. That way I don't have to put the thumb drive in a drive to see what's on there. So that's just what I do. And you don't have to do that, but that's an example of how I use it in practical purposes. The reason I tell you that is you're creating a collage for hopefully to be utilized for practical purposes like I just mentioned. And then we'll be going over exposure notes in class. For those of you in class, even those online, I'll be showing you an image of what the exposure icon should look like on your camera or your phone, either one. And then for the take-home collage, you will be submitting your very first album in our Folky folder I created for us for Web225 Spring 2019. This is for my photography classes over the years since 2009. Have posted images and photo projects. And so you'll see what that's all about. And we'll talk about that in Folky. Not real difficult to do, pretty easy. All right. So first of all, we're going to go over the notes, which is exposure. And the first week in class, we talked about the best way to describe or explain a good photo is good exposure. Remember, good exposure is the proper terminology where you have the ISO leg of the stool, you've got the shutter speed of the stool, and then you also have the aperture. And so those three combined can help with the quality of an image, the exposure of an image. And this week we're going to talk about the EV value, which is the exposure value. EV value or exposure compensation is built into every camera from the time cameras have been created to present day, and every phone app that you use has a built-in EV exposure, most of them. And so we're going to talk about that why we use it, how we use it, how you're going to use it this week, and how you're going to practice with it. So first of all, the term aperture and shutter speed combination. And when you have the correct aperture shutter speed combination, you're going to get a properly exposed image. And because of that, remember, the aperture is going to determine the amount of light, the hole that's allowed for that light to come through. And the shutter speed is the shutter speed as far as determining how long the shutter is open and closed for the light to come into the sensor. And depending on the light that you're around, the natural light, whether it's indoors or outdoors, depend upon the settings for that aperture and shutter speed. And so sometimes determining the wrong exposure value can correctly expose the image. And so basically you can take the EV value and bump it up, bump it down in order to correctly expose the image properly. So you might have seen this on your camera, maybe you haven't, maybe you've seen it somewhere on your camera this week, and you're going to figure out where it's at. Every camera is going to have a different location. Some of your cameras will have a knob with this on it, or a kind of a wheel with this on it that'll have ability, and it'll have EV up there to view it. And basically it'll have E on the upper corner, V on the lower right corner with a slash in between. And you'll notice this one has a 0 in the middle, a +0, and a +1, +2, and then -1, -2. The more positive you go, the darker the EV value becomes, a darker exposure. So if you're in a real lit room, you can basically bump it up and slightly over or underexpose it, either one, depending upon which value you choose. So why do we use it? We use EV value to properly expose a photo very quickly. It's not real hard to use, but it's real powerful. The EV value is. That's what it looks like. That's the universal symbol for EV, exposure value. And again, some of yours might look different, possibly on your camera, but some of you might actually have a button that looks just like that, or it might be round and have a plus and minus on it. Either one. So when the plus is tapped or slid over with your finger on your menu, however your camera allows you to do it, or using a wheel or whatever, it's going to add more light to the picture. It makes it lighter. Subtraction subtracts light from the pictures. So if you just think of plus as adding light, subtract is subtracting light. And so if there's too much light in your image when you're taking a photo, too much light around the room or cast onto the image that you're taking a photo of, the person or the object, too much light, you can just tap the negative until it looks good to you. It's subjective. And what I generally do is I'll give some variations of it. So if I know I'm going to go a little darker, I'll go and give 2 or 3 iterations of that darkness, because I might not know, and by just looking at the LED on my camera, what the picture is going to look like. Possibly, it might not. I'll guess, but I don't know for sure. And so I'll give some variations. That's why this week we're going to do some variations of EV, like we've been doing when you're taking photos this week. So here's an example of a succession of images and what the EV value does. So You'll notice on the left, very dark, very hard to see. Even though I've dimmed the lights here in the room, it's still pretty much dark. I mean, you can make the shadow out on it. If you're viewing it from your monitor, it looks about the same as up here. So that's EV -2, then -1, then 0, then +1, +1.3, 1.6, +2. And some of your cameras will go further way to the right and way to the left. Okay. All of your cameras should have from the 0 in the middle to at least a -5 or 6, if not more, and a +5 or 6, or not more. Okay. Now, you might be asking, is EV0 the real light or how light really is? I mean, good question. Glad you asked. But it's not. It's just basically what it is it's basically how the sensor sees a light. Well, that is 0. That doesn't necessarily mean, like, okay, an example I'll give you is your eyes, okay? If you were to walk in a pitch dark room in your home, about how long would it take for your eyes to adjust to that room to where you could actually walk around and actually get around? Maybe pitch dark, maybe have just a, you know, some light from the window or something, possibly if it's dark out from a street lamp or something. But how long would it take your eyes to adjust? 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 5 seconds. Yeah, real quick, right? Your eyes adjust automatically, right? We don't even realize it, but they do. We just take for granted our eyes do it, right? Cameras don't do that. Sensors don't do that. So when we adjust from, we take the camera out, we turn it on, and we are immediately, or we walk right in from a light room into a dark room, or lightness into darkness type of scenery, the camera really doesn't adjust like our eyes do, okay? So we have to do it for it. We have to basically adjust for the lighting around it, if that makes sense. Now, does the camera do a pretty good job on auto adjusting? Yeah, it does a pretty good job, but nothing like our eyes do. Is nothing even close. So that's where we have to compensate with an EV value, if that makes sense. We're compensating with how our eyes see it, because our eyes can see actually a truer, if you have good eyes anyway, you can see a truer lighting than the sensor. Basically what that means is your sensor you have inside of you is much more powerful than the sensor in the camera. If that makes sense. So you just have to trust your own sensor within you of lighting, okay? And you will get better at it, by the way. You'll understand not only how you judge light, but you'll also understand how your camera, what it does after this week with the EV value. Some of your cameras will really, when it goes to the negative, will really increasingly darken it by just one bump. Some of yours have to maybe go 3 or 4 bumps down in the negative to really do anything. So it just depends again on your camera, how it adjusts that EV value. And so by playing with it this week, like we do each week, you'll have a better understanding of what your camera does with EV. And so in a situation, you won't have to think about it. You'll be like, okay, it's a little light here. Okay, I need to know. Okay, I'm gonna go -3. I know it. I've already done a photo like this before. -3, easy, no problem. That makes sense. And so the more practice you get at it, it's not like you have to write it down. It just becomes second nature, depending on the camera you use. I have a lot of cameras, so different cameras do have different EV values that I just know inherently by using them. Does that make sense? And so by practicing it, you'll get better at these compensations for EV. So normal exposure, most scenes like this photo here, reflect about 18% of the light that falls on them. Only 18% is normal. Average scene reflects only 18%. And again, we would think, wow, that's pretty low, right? That's a pretty low number. And it is, but you have to remember what is sensing this light. It's not you, it's the camera's sensor. It's sensing it. It's doing the best job it can because it's digital and it's adjusting the best it can. So you have to make compensations for it with EV. Bright scenes reflect more than 18%, like today, this time of year. A lot of snow, frozen, whatever. That's going to bump up to 20, 30, 40% of reflection. Okay. So when you get up in the morning, you're driving in the morning, the sun's coming out. I mean, things are really bright. Everything's bright, right? The road's bright, the stoplight's bright, the trees are bright. Everything's reflecting off the trees because they're frozen on the trees. So everything reflects off everything, if you think about it. So you're not just talking about the snow reflection, you're talking about the frozen tree reflecting light, the frozen ground reflecting light, the frozen stop sign, everything that you see around you. Also, beach scenes, bright sand reflects more than 18%. And we've already talked about snow. In this case, you would have to subtract that light from that image to make it look to where you can view the image and make out what you're taking a photo of. Because if it's too overexposed, naturally, too much reflection, then everything gets kind of washed out and kind of white. Okay, so you compensate for with the EV. So dark scenes like a forest or a shady area reflects less than 18%. Deep shadows, dark foliage, a black cloth. In this case, you bump it up. You increase, you make it positive, making it lighter. Other examples, subject against a very light background. The main subject will be dark. Subject against a very dark background, the main subject will be light. Like if you were to go out pitch dark tonight, and I was to take a picture of you with the camera, you would become very light with the flash. Everything behind you would be very dark, right? But if you were on the flip side, would to, I don't know, stand against a snow scene tomorrow in the daylight of white snow, really bright snow, I took a photo of you, you would then, in that case, subject would become very dark or darker, and the snow would become bright. So to sum it up, as far as EV, you've got to lighten a picture, you increase with the EV plus symbol. And then to darken it, you decrease it. Pretty simple, right? But again, you'll see this week, it's really a powerful technique. It's a powerful setting in your camera that many of you probably have never used or very sparingly used. Thinking, not really much to this or something. And really, after playing with this week, you'll see how powerful it really is. So what we're going to do now is go to, before we go to the take-home exercise, is I want to walk around and with your camera, if you have it with you, if you don't, no big deal. But if you have it with you, I'd like to see if you can notice where your EV value is on your camera, and then let me see it. And then we're going to go over the collage together. If you don't have it with you, or if you can't find it, I'll try to help you. But you can also look at your manual as well. But most of you will be able to help. You don't miss that though.
Yeah, I know where they are.
Yep. Yeah, yours is real common on yours. Oh, that's fine. And you notice the EV? It's right there. See it? Yeah, right there. That's it. So you'll notice when you tap it, if you tap that EV, then you should get. Oh, okay, sorry. You got it right first time. There you go. So yours goes from. We'll tap on that from. I'll let you do it. But, nope. That little symbol that says plus. It's a plus and minus. Yeah. Go ahead and do it again. Right there. One more time. Should bring up the AV. Press and hold it. Don't move it. Yeah, press and hold it. I'll release it. Press release. That's it. So you have to figure out where that pops up at. I'll give you this one. One of those that says EV. What app is that? Yeah, go online, look at that. It should be able to. I don't know what mode you're in now. Yeah, go to manual mode if you can. Now hit the EV. Let's shutter. What other mode you have on that? Might have to look at real quick. And you'll have to look at the manual on that. Okay. So, you know. Right. Perfect. Oh yeah, perfect. Awesome. So you have 0, -2, plus all the way to +2. Awesome. Good. Sure. Yep. Awesome. Good. Good.
Can we see the now camera here somewhere?
You know, what's the applicants?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
This
that's
is
fine.
camera.
No. I'm just, is this a built-in app for the phone or is this a?
Yeah.
Let's see. Pro. Okay. I changed it to Pro mode.
Mhm.
It looks like it's coming up on EV.
Oh.
See it? Cool. All right. Figure? You found it? Cool. Awesome. I had to get rid of the ISO. Okay. Cool. All right. Those that are online, real quickly. Those are online real quickly. If you could look at the EV value on your camera or your app and just post that you have found it. Looks like some have already said they found it. Jacob, Mary, great. Janice, okay. It looks like most everybody has found it. Brittany, did you find it on yours? Let me know if you did. All right, awesome, great. Yeah, so hopefully, I believe as I walk around in here, everybody had at least a 0 to -2 and a 0 to +2, if I'm not mistaken. So that's great. All right, Brittany, thanks. All right, cool. So next thing we're going to go over is this take-home assignment, and I've already downloaded 30 images. But before we do, I want to talk about what this is. Okay, it's a contact sheet. You guys, we talked a little bit already about a contact sheet, how I use it. You're going to create a contact sheet from last week's pictures, those 30 pictures you took last week, and you'll need to create 2 collages to complete this. Since the collage only allows you to use 25 photos, you can do like 15 and 10, 15 on one collage, 10 on one collage. You can use a sticker of your choice to mark with the caption selected. Remember last week you selected out of each photo setting, you selected one image that you thought was the best type of photo for that week, best exposure value for that photo of that week. So use that same, or the ISO value, I believe it was, that you selected that week. So whichever one you selected, you'll select it on the actual contact sheet as well. You don't have to use a sticker. I'll show you some examples of how you can do it besides a sticker. And so you'll end up with 5 photos that will have a star or sticker or something on there that represents the 5 best ISO settings from last week out of the 30 photos. Then you'll create the collage and save it as contact1 and contact2.jpg. And then instead of submitting it like we have been you can upload it to your album, definitely, but I'm going to have you submit this week to Foki your photos. So you'll create a new email to this very long, ugly email. It's Checkin plus SP for spring 19 for 2019 collage. So Checkin plus SP19 collage at Folky.com. You'll have to create a new email in your RBC email or your Gmail account. It won't work by creating it in Eagle because Eagle won't let you email outside of its system. Make sense? So subject line will be your last name. You'll attach both images and send it. When you're done, I put a link to the actual Folky album. Wait a couple minutes to see if it shows up. And I'm going to do mine actually right now to show you what it's going to look like. So here's the image link to create the contact sheet on Pixlr Collage. I'll go and click on it. And if you get a Flash thing about Adobe Flash, no longer supported, yada, 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 you can just say, you know, exit out of that for now. It should work fine. You might have to on your browsers or home browsers enable Flash for that session, but you should hopefully know how to do that by now on your computer. Flash is going by the wayside, by the way, so you'll see a lot of stuff like that has Flash be gone in a bit. So you'll notice as this Pixlr Express has browse, open URL, webcam, or collage. We're going to do collage, and it has a plus symbol. You can add up to, I believe, 15 images. So I'm going to go into the plus symbol here. I have some images on my desktop already from a photo shoot in 2009, I believe, or 10 that students did here. And so I'm going to go ahead and just select all these images. And I can only do 15, unless they got to. They might have changed it maybe, but I don't think so. Let me see here. Want that. There we go. Let's see. Well, you can go. Well, let's see what we got. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Does it say 25? So it's like 25 is you can get 25. So again, 15 and 10. So it's still only 25. All right. And so I'm going to go ahead and done. There's nothing special I have to do with this one except for adding the stickers I talked about. So let's do that. Let's play with that a little bit. See if they've changed any. So let's see. I'll click on we'll pretend this is an ISO one that you want, and I'm going to do a sticker, and you can choose whatever. I'm going to choose this little puppy or whatever it is, this kawa or whatever. This little puppy, I'll put that in there. Yeah, this is one I want. You don't have to. You can do whatever you want to. We'll just pretend that's the one that I want. That's my little ISO one that I want. Okay, and then I go back. I got my little sticker on that guy, and I'll do another one just to show you. You hit the little pencil, and again, and you can type too on this too. You don't have to just if you want to type something and go, you know, I don't know. We'll type something in here. We'll do like best or something like that. If you don't want to do the sticker, you can do that. You don't have to do a sticker, by the way. There you go. I got a sticker, got a best. Let's see what else they get to let us do here. This kid was holding, during your portrait photos, you guys get to bring your favorite prop. His was an old Polaroid camera, I believe, that he brought. So let's see here. I did what? Sticker. I did type. What else? I think the overlay's not going to work. No. Let's see what other stickers are available. Let's see. How about we'll get ready for Christmas already. How's that? How about there you go, reindeer antlers. There you go. We'll do a reindeer. You can have fun with it. There's nothing wrong here. As long as you put something in there. So you get what I'm doing, right? You select your 5 images you chose last week. Remember, you took 30 photos. Each set of 3, you chose the best ISO of your choice, remember? The best or chosen or whatever. You'll put a little image, however you want to do it, text, sticker, that make sense? Whichever you want to do on it. So you're all done. You work, get it all done, get it uploaded. You do not have to edit any of these photos, by the way. It's just practice for collage. Once you're finished, you'll go ahead and hit the finish button here. And then we can go ahead and save it. Click the save button. And I'm going to go ahead and put collage 1. And I'll put the quality as high as it can go, which is 100. Hit save. And you'll notice immediately it prompts me to save it on my computer. Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead. It's already named Save 1 or Collage 1. I'm going to go ahead and put it on my desktop. Save it. Now I'm ready to email it, as the steps say here in 5 Take Home. So let me open up my Gmail and I'll do it through that. This way there shouldn't be any questions on how to do it, especially sending this email, because it is an ugly email address. I agree. All right, so remember this. Checkin plus SP for spring 19 collage at oki.com, and I spelled it wrong. Let's do it again. P19 collage at. We could just copy and paste it. There we go. And then subject line last name. And then I'm going to attach that image, that collage image, to the email. And let me confirm that's the right. Okay, Checkin SP19 collage, focus.com. That looks good. Yep. You don't need to put anything else in the body of the email. And then just send it. And we'll confirm it's sent. Might take a little bit with an image here. There it is right there. All right, cool. It takes a little bit. It has to render it and all that good stuff. Yeah, there it is. All right, there's the image. Notice my name's there at the bottom, Conkle. And voila, there's that collage we just uploaded. That was a nice little fancy stickers. All right, pretty cool, right? And that's it. That's all you gotta do with the collage. Make sense? So 15 and 10, and you'll probably, you'll like this Pixlr once you end up, we'll be using this all semester, Pixlr. It's really nice. You have to put up the annoying ads, but it's totally free to use. And so, but it's a lot of cool stuff you can do with Pixlr. The one we'll be using, by the way, mainly is not Pixlr Express like we're doing with the collage. It's just pure Pixlr. And we'll be using this, and they do have mobile apps, by the way. We'll be doing this Pixlr editor. And I'll just show you a quick preview of Pixlr editor because we got time here. I'll open up an image that I just uploaded. We'll open up an image from, I'll open up an image of these kids with his dad. I'll tell you the story on this one. Yeah, we'll do that one. That's fine. All right, story on this photo. This guy here, he's the dad of these two boys. During the portrait night on week 11, which I think is going to be week 11, week 12 here as well this semester. He was in military from Marines. He arrived that night. He'd been gone for a year and a half. And it was pretty emotional. Those boys were all excited, as you can imagine. That one boy couldn't stop smiling the whole time. You could tell, this kid on the right. But it was pretty good. It was pretty good. And the wife actually brought the student of mine, had the matching shirts already, and the dad put it on. So that was pretty cool. And but anyway, the way Pixlr works, as you can see, a lot like Photoshop over here. If those of you familiar with Photoshop, you can come in here. Like I'll just do an example of what you can do. Like say I want to get rid of this background maybe a little bit and fill it in with all black or something. I might just want to go in here and hit an eraser to get rid of some of this. And so what I'll do is get rid of and then I can do a magic wand on the other stuff. I'm not being real exact. I'm just showing you. Let's go back a little further. Let's do a those of you who remember polygonal lasso tool in Photoshop. It's got that polygonal lasso tool, which you can use just like in Photoshop to do so more exact selections. Most people use only about 8% of the tools in Photoshop. I was a graphic designer for 8 years, and I can attest even graphic designers in the field don't use all the tools. But the tools that we do use, Pixlr has available. What's cool is you can, if you have a PSD file, native PSD file from Photoshop, Pixlr will actually open it up, and you can begin editing it like you were in Photoshop. Pixlr also allows you to save images in layer format. So you have multiple layers on an image. And filters, just like you do in Photoshop, are available as well. I'm not going to be as exact on this, but I just want to show you some of the stuff it'll do. All right, so go back to the beginning. Rid of that. Yeah, it's a lot better. All right. Come back here. And let's do some erasing now. It's a little bigger there. All right, so I want to duplicate that layer, do that, and maybe want to create a blank layer, and maybe we want to put, I don't know, do the new Disney Star Wars ride. About any Star Wars fans in here? No? Don't care about Star Wars? All right, we'll put a Disney background. You guys remember the name of the big ship in that? Starts with a Millennial Falcon or Falcon, is that right? So, feel. Yeah, there we go. This is awesome here. So we'll do like. Yeah, that'll work. We'll use that as a background. And Pixlr also lets you open image from a URL. I really don't like doing it. I don't like how it does it, so I usually don't use that feature. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Did I overwrite my photo I started? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, here we go. Let me open up that image. I'm just going to quickly put this in the background just to show you how it does saves in layers. I'll select that. I'll bring that over into here, and I will do a free transform, which is popular in Photoshop, where you can pre-transform an image, stretch it out. We'll do boom, and then we will bring this layer below, image here, and I will do a free transform these guys. Boom. And I might even bring in a filter. Let's do like levels. If you're familiar with Photoshop, I know some of you have taken it before. All the filters that Photoshop has. Cool, now we're ready. Now watch. When I go to save this, formats, normal formats you would think, PNG, JPEG, but this last format, PXD, that's the layering format. And what's cool about this is you can actually now save this onto your cloud drive, and it's an 8 gig file. You can save this on your cloud drive and then edit this on any browser enabled computer, laptop, even your phone or tablet using Pixlr. And I'm going to exit out of it just to show you. I'll close this. No, I don't want to save it. Save that. Nope. We'll pretend we're working on it tomorrow. And there's our PXD. And voila, we're back in business. Pretty cool, right? All with one free, and we didn't go over all this stuff. There's tons of, they even added some new stuff here that I've not played with. They have vector images you can play with. But look at all the filters. You got all the filters that you use in Photoshop, from glossy and blur to polarization, vignette, night vision, all that is all built in. So we'll be using this quite a bit throughout the semester for post-production. You guys ever heard of Nels Ackerman, photographer here in Rockford? He was a Reagan photographer, President Reagan. He was his personal photographer for years. He has his own photography company here in town. He spoke one semester here, and I was sharing with my students, like tonight, Pixlr. I was around this week, and he'd never heard of it, which totally blew me away. Nels Ackerman is like a professional photographer, been doing it for 30 years. Anyway, long story short, his team started using Pixlr on the road when they fly back and forth between different photo shoots. They ended up a year later not even using Photoshop hardly at all. Use Pixlr for everything. He says it's awesome. We can be anywhere. We don't have to have any special machinery, just done. And so if he endorses it, it's got to be good. And so he does this all the time, post-production stuff. Nels Ackerman.
Is it free?
Do I know?
Is it free?
Totally free. Yeah. Now they do have some paid versions that they've just added, like this upgrade, which is supposed to, and I've not played with it, but they've even got tons of PSD templates, I guess. They have tons of starting templates for layouts, evidently. So I would recommend, even, it's so good, I would recommend, and I don't recommend a lot of stuff for paid. This one I would recommend because they put a lot of work into it. So you'd probably get a lot out of it if you're going to use it. But you don't have to get upgraded to paid. I've never paid for this. I've always used a free one. But everything I've seen so far on the paid stuff is pretty quality stuff on all the demos and everything. And the new version of Pixlr Pro is non-flash enabled, meaning it can run on any web browser. It doesn't have to have flash enabled. It's HTML5. So long story short, we'll be using it a lot, and hopefully you guys will like it. I think you will. So that's Pixlr. Went over the take home. This is what it'll end up looking like. You'll notice on the overhead, our folder we'll be using this semester is Web225 Spring 2019. You can peruse through the other ones that have been used throughout the years. And this is where our collages will be. One of the things you'll notice within Foki while you're in here playing with it, unlike some other photo platforms, is it has one of the cool things it has in here for photographers anyway, is adding value, custom prices to images. And so you can go in and do like, say, a wedding photo session and just give people, it'll give them a direct URL to that session. And then they come in if they want to buy images. It'll let them preview all the images they want and won't let them download, but then they can purchase any images and it'll send it right to their house. And the pricing on Foki, you can set your own custom pricing, but if you don't want to do that and just want people to buy it from Foki and not make any money off of it, which I've done a lot with family and friends, the pricing on Foki is really reasonable. Like I'll give you an example on this one here. Notice immediately when you bring it up, it has automatically an example of what it would look like on a coffee cup or on a t-shirt. If you click here to more products, a mouse pad, a puzzle, a jewelry box, and not only that, just pure images. Let me show you what that looks like. Costing on images. So let's go to, let's see. I don't want that. Photo. Used to be right in here. Maybe I'm looking right at it probably. Okay, no. What's that? Maybe it is over here. Photo, get shopping cart. Okay, don't want that. Oh, I want just the regular photos. Let's try and show you the pricing here. The pricing tag. Let's see what that. Oh, okay, that. I'll find it here. Let's see. Nope. Maybe this is it. Add to cart. There we go. All right, so let's look at the pricing. And it's comparable. It's cheaper in a lot of places that you buy photos. Like 4x6, 15 cents without shipping. But it'll go up even higher. So if we want to bump this up to say 8x10, photo glossy, and add to shopping cart, we can now go into the shopping cart here and bump up the size to, let's say, 30x40. That's movie poster size. Now, granted, it's too poor quality, but you can see the pricing's pretty reasonable, 25 bucks. And that's 30x40. And it's photo glossy, and you put it on a nice, you go to Michael's and get a frame and put it in a frame, and it looks really nice. So anyway, I thought I'd show you that, but the pricing is really reasonable, I think. So if nothing else, you can use Foki to purchase photos or something like that, maybe. All right. So questions on the take-home? Cool. All right, let's go next. All right, the take-home assignment number 2 is exposure assignment, as you can probably guess. You're going to take 5 photo settings with 3 exposures per setting for a total of 15 photos. And so each photo setting, you're going to do a -1, 0, +1 in every one of them. As far as all the other settings on your camera that you have at that time, I want you to use what you've learned thus far in here. So we went over ISO, went over some white balance stuff, just the auto stuff, white balance and ISO, and now EV. Or if you want, you can even play around with just playing auto. I would recommend playing around with the ISO and white balance, and then just use EV as a way to kind of tweak it and make it like you want it. Make sense? And so if you go to the mall, an example would be mall, -1, 0, +1. Student center, -1, 0, +1. Park, -1, 0, +1. All the way to the fifth one, house, -0, +1. You'll label them on your photo, however you do it, on your photo album, whether it's a title, label, however you do it on yours, whichever you chose, Google Photos or Foki or whatever, or Flickr. Then you will upload them to week 5, label it in week 5 as week 5, upload the 15 photos, submit done. And I'm going to do this too, just because for sharing purposes, it's easier for me to find it sometimes. I'm going to change this submission from just done to a URL. That way you can submit into this, the URL of your photo album, if you don't mind. That would be awesome. So I'm going to change that text from done to, let's see, submit URL of photo album. That's just easier for me to access it this way. Great. Questions on that? So again, 0, -1, +1. 5 photo settings. If you want to do the same photo settings you did last week for the 30 photos, that's great. You don't have to. Maybe change it up a little bit. This way, what you'll do at the end of this one is you'll see how your camera, how it does with all different types of lighting and all different types of So I recommend doing some in the day, some at night, some in indoors, some at work, at home, whatever, right? And just play with it to see how what the EV value does is what this whole purpose is. You're not choosing which one's the best like you did last week that you think's the best. You're just kind of playing with the whole thing to see how it works. And by the end of that playtime, you'll have a better understanding of what EV does and how it will benefit your photos. Cool? And then the very difficult 1-point quiz, which is due Sunday, which I know everybody is pumped about that. And let me just show you the preview of this again. You'll study your terms, do the matching. Once you're through with the matching, submit the quiz, and you have up to 3 opportunities to take it. Now this should not be timed. Oh, it just times it. Doesn't time you as far as giving you a time limit. So it's like I saw that timer. I'm like, huh? This should not time you on this. All right, questions on that, on the quiz for this week? No? Cool. All right, well, we are done for the night. Temp has dropped about 4 degrees since we started. So those of you that are in the class, please do me a favor. When you get home, text me, email me something. Let me know you got home. That'd be great. I know some of you might travel anybody travel a distance tonight? No? Cool. So you'll be home within 5 minutes, right?
No.
10 minutes?
2025.
2025. Okay. Are you going north or south?
Cherry Valley.
Cherry Valley. Okay, well, that's not true. Hopefully the road should be good all the way. If you take the main one, it should be all right. Parking lot actually is going to be the worst for everybody. The main roads I think are pretty good, but you guys saw I know you had a class before this, right? But the parking lot, when I took a break and left campus and came back, and yeah, the parking lot's probably the worst. So just take your time walking out. They have not shoveled any of the parking lot or the sidewalks, so just be careful. All right, cool. Well, we're done. If you have any questions, come up and see me. Let me make sure about next week, if there's anything here. We are in class next week, hopefully. And I will be bringing next week something cool. I just got it. Well, I just got it in the mail yesterday, day before, and I'm going to be getting another one. It's a DJI photo drone that basically can be controlled by code, and I'm going to bring it in the classroom, and we're going to take some photos with it to see the quality of photos that it takes, along with another drone that I use for photography called the DJI Spark, and I'm going to let you guys play with it, both of them. So you'll be able to we'll bring it up to about 3 or 4 feet, do a 360, and take some photos in the room. Might take it out there, depending on the weather. We might even go to PEC in the gym there and take some photos there. But for sure, we'll take some photos here in the building. And that foyer will be a nice lit up place out there to take photos with. Has anybody ever flown a drone before? Cool. So you get to fly a drone next week. That'd be cool, right? And believe it or not, digital photography with drones is like, as you can imagine, skyrocketing right now because all realtors use drones now for their aerial photographies of properties, along with first responders. Firefighters use drones now for assessing a fire before they send folks in, because it's, you know, easier just to, and more makes more sense to send a drone in, even if you have to replace it in a person. And so, but anyway, they take some really nice images, really nice. I like to go to Rock Cut with mine early in the morning and take photos. So anyway, you guys get to play with them next week. Some different types of photography. So anyway, cool. We'll have a good week. Be careful, and we'll see you next week.
Actually,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, go ahead.